Hey there, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Kingdoms Reborn in New Jokyo. In the last video, we actually were able to get our food under control and then some. Thank you, ramen and sushi. I love you oh so very much. Now we are hitting the last big hurdle of the game before we truly hit critical mass and can do whatever it is we want to do. And that is get our luxuries under control so we can upgrade our houses and keep them reliably at level 6, or maybe even better than that. Now, Tier 1 luxuries, tulips are doing great on, because we have 2 big fields. I actually planted another one down over here. Don't know if I mentioned that in the video. So we're producing plenty of the things. We're also experimenting with green tea, and that seems to be working out just fine. But we don't have the labor to go around to consistently work things like the furniture workshops, which is proving to be a pretty big problem. I also think we may want to consider getting rid of these pottery shops and replacing them with the advanced versions as well, providing 16 more jobs so we can finish off huge batches of pottery. All of that would be great, but until we are able to get ourselves some more labor, I'm not sure that that's going to do us a lot of good, and unfortunately you can see that our labor is once again dumping down. Not because of food, not because of sickness, it's just going through another cycle. I fully expect in the next year or so we're going to see a huge spike in replacement children. What we can do over here is go to the job priority and try to rework a couple things over here. So, for example, the blacksmith needs to be a very high priority for sure. Immigration, yes. Fishing, we can get rid of the stone tools. That's not important. I actually feel like the hauling services are probably very important, and so is the market. Reason being, at some point, the logistics themselves are going to be boosting up the efficiency of everything else, so these need to be, to some degree or another, a high priority. But notice how many open jobs I've got right now whenever people are out working the farms. We're only getting all these jobs filled if it's wintertime. That is not going to cut it. We need, weirdly enough, a huge spike in population. More immigration offices will help, at least a little bit, but it's not going to be enough, not by itself. I really need people to get down to making some proper babies at a far more consistent rate. Stop with this whole, 5 years, we have a big replacement wave thing. I don't need more baby booms. I need consistent population growth. Dang it. Let's not forget we can also now finally add in some banks once again to our areas. As long as we have level 5 houses nearby, we're going to start getting a lot of extra tax income. 30% specifically, which, I think that's probably worth something. Yeah, look at this. If everyone's working the farms, I've lost so many adults that now we're down to only working a few places like this. Why is it that we can't even seem to get people to work in the blacksmith, the higher priority over here? Because I have these starred, that's why. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh God. Yeah, I hate to say it, I think we're reaching the point where I really do need to consider getting away from food production and just buy, and instead translate into almost entirely luxury production. It's super risky to do this, right? I like having a certain level of autarky, but it's just not gonna work. So let's consider this for a minute. I'm gonna experiment very briefly. We are gonna go to job priorities, and I'm gonna turn off all deep sea fishing and just get rid of that for now. Instead, we're gonna go to auto trade, and I'm gonna do some automatic importing of some tuna. It does cost 11, yes, but the amount of food that I get from tuna should ultimately be fine. I'm going to have a very large stockpile. Let's say if I have anything less than 4,000, go ahead and start buying, all right? And this needs to be a high priority alongside the tools. If I can free up 25 workers and accept that I'm just going to have to buy my tuna from here on out, but those workers are now producing still enough food to keep me afloat, and they're producing luxuries that I can sell and I make more money in the long run, it's worth it. Amazingly, this still does not leave me with enough people to work almost anything that matters. Good God. Yeah, our population's dropped down to 250 working adults. We need a lot more than this. Okay. Let's keep an eye on our money, by the way. If this starts dropping precipitously, we know we're going to be in fine. And the reason I wanted to have a very large stockpile of tuna, by the way, is just so I'll have reaction time. If it turns out I have miscalculated on this, and we're not yet at that food critical mass where it makes sense to buy instead of fish for myself. I'm also going to start purchasing pork, all right? We'll continue making our own rice for now. I've got 32,000 rice, but, let's go ahead and start buying some of this. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's see how we're doing. Population's starting to bump back up. I'm going to pull back on things like fish. We're going to make furniture workshops, sake, and so on. a higher priority so that as our population comes in, we start making these things again. Get the gosh dang luxuries up and a-running. Also, medicine. I know that one's a bit weird. We could buy this one too, and I'm tempted. But I'd really rather not have people die of sickness, right? Every person that dies of sickness is one less person that's able to make me something I actually care about. I mean, how much is medicine? It's more than twice the cost of medicinal herbs. We could buy some of this, you know, try to get ourselves up to about 100. Again, this would have to be a somewhat high priority, though. We're running out of trade capacity because I'm selling so much stuff. But we still are making a net profit per trade. Might be time to go ahead and get myself at least a couple more of these trading companies. What do you think? I think so. Let's get ourselves like 4 more of these. I'll just go ahead and turn them all into subsidiaries because we don't need to manage their auto trade. That should greatly increase my capacity. Now my net profit's dropping a lot, but that's partly because I'm buying a lot more. That's okay, though. That's still fine as long as it's a profit. Population's starting to skyrocket, both in terms of children and adults. Okay. Now we have people consistently starting to work in the advanced furniture workshop. I know you can't see this, but it's there. So we pop over here. Yeah, that's at least some people. Okay, getting back on track with some of the furniture. We are producing so many tulips and green teas. Good lord. Yeah. We're starting to see some of the furniture come back in now. That's good. Having a lot more workers over here makes a difference. And of course, our income is going up because people are consuming more luxuries, which means I get some more gold over there. Good. What I do think we'll do is get rid of all of these potters over here. I know that sounds weird because we just said we wanted to have those, but let's get rid of them and replace them with the advanced variants of the potter, which is going to be far more labor dense, more workers per building for sure. But also, I am hoping that this means we will get a lot better value, or at least we'll start producing these a lot faster, simply by virtue of having so many people working here and less input necessary than a regular input thing here. Because I believe that the advanced had, like, what was it, 10, 20% less costs, I think? Less clay? Something around there. Oh, 20% input consumption. There it is right there. Okay, so these are more efficient, which hopefully would mean less workers needed here, actually, at the clay pits. Not that these aren't already doing fine, because I have a production limit over here, so as long as we, you know, never have to worry about going over 1,000, they'll go do more important things. How's the trade looking? Still walking away with a huge net profit because we can continue selling so many tulips. We can sell off even more of them if we want to make more money, but to be honest, I'm not worried about it unless we get to a point where I literally don't have the inventory space. I don't think we're there yet, though, but we're getting close. So how are we doing on other luxuries? Furniture is up to 1,200. We are starting to see some pottery arrive again. There we go. Of course, as soon as winter is up, everyone goes back to the fields. Never enough, but this is looking a lot better. Oh my god, population did indeed skyrocket. Okay. Yeah, plenty of adults now. How long is that going to last? Food is trending down slightly, and I mean slightly. And it's not because I'm buying ingredients, I think. It's because we just have more people. Which means I probably need even more ramen shops and sushi bars. We've actually got homeless people. Woo! Haven't had that problem in a little bit. Hold on. Let's just go ahead and toss a handful more workers over here, close to the furniture workshops, because we know there's a lot of labor going down over here, both in the short term and the long term, as I eventually, hopefully, get up to 8 of these things up and running. Okay, it's skyrocketing a little bit too much. Yeah, the food's starting to go down really quickly now. Oh, for God's sake. Remember, by the way, that this difficulty you have here, this used to be considered deity difficulty. Not anymore. And the fact that we're actually still finding a way to keep this going is, I won't say impressive, but it feels pretty good. Still, this is still quite challenging in and of its own right. Are there other foods that we could start importing that wouldn't crush my profit margins? I mean, everything's costing around 12 gold right now. The cost of food is kind of high for everything, actually. Might have something to do with the amount that I'm importing. I don't know, but, yeah. No, I'm not seeing anything here that would really make a lot of sense. That's a shame. Okay, yeah, seriously, population, you're going a little bit crazy all of a sudden. I know I said I needed a population spike, but geez, dude. All right, let's think a little bit. What else could I do that might help a little bit? I mean, cocoa is a thing. But I don't think we can do anything with cocoa yet because I haven't researched the chocolatier because we don't have level 6 here. So that's not going to do it. What might be worthwhile... I mean, what kind of other tier luxuries can I work toward here? We could work toward the candles and also produce honey at the same time. That wouldn't be bad because it's a food source as well as getting me a raw material that I can then turn into a tier 2 luxury. So maybe candles is an option for me. I don't think there's anything else I need to do from tier 1. Maybe grow cannabis. We're really good at growing things. That's the thing. Anything that could be farming-based to get luxuries, I'm really, really good at. I would love to be able to make spices, for example. It's a shame that I'm not the Emirates faction. Glassware is really good, but very labor-intensive. Honey mead is not an option for me. Bonsai trees, you know, that's the thing that we could do that's unique for us. We haven't really considered this too much, but we could do the bonsai trees. But the batches are pretty small overall, so unless this works really, really fast, I'm not sure this is going to be my solution. But what's my other option, really? Wine? Clothing? Wine we could do because I can grow lots of grapes. Yeah, that's a thing. But again, it's fairly labor-intensive to do this. Don't really think I want to do things like vodka. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward trying candles. Let's see if we can get ourselves some beekeepers up and a-running. Also boosts up the efficiency if it's around a lot of trees. So the further we are away into the woods, the better this is going to be. The problem I have with that is you have to have them really spread far apart, which means lots of travel time. So I'm sort of second-guessing this a little bit, but let's give it a go. And in case you're wondering, by the way, if you're going to set yourself up a new residential neighborhood, this is one of the most efficient things you can do. You get yourself a market, a warehouse, a tavern, a bank, and a library, all set up in this kind of a pattern. Nice and square, very space efficient, and then you just build out all the houses you want around it, and they're all going to get a lot of the benefit. Okay, so with the beekeepers up and running, first off, you have a lot of people working them already. That's interesting. So we can boost up the work speed a bit, so we can get extra production whenever all the workers are present. We can go for extra productivity for every level 4 house. That should be a 30% boost alone. And, of course, use some paper, boost up the hours. Now every batch could be about 22 beeswax. And it does output honey as well, though it doesn't say that per batch, which I always thought was a little bit bizarre, but it is another output. So technically that's also food. And then with all of that beeswax, let's go to the candle maker and start placing some of these down. Hate to place these close to where people are living, because that's how they get angry, but maybe we could place it up over here instead? Sure. Food, by the way, is jumping back up again. Good, okay. I started importing a lot more pork and fish than I was before, so it looks like that is working in the sense that we are now turning that into more of the tasty ramen and sushi. So far, actually, so good. But the prices for all of these goods is skyrocketing because of how much I'm importing. Oh, dear. It's still working out, though. I've got a lot of luxuries that I'm sitting on, enough to keep ourselves fully sustained at Tier 1. I just have to get Tier 2 up and a-running. And that's where we now have candle makers. Okay, question. If this gets built, I'll just spend some money. Do we get an advanced? We do. So now I'm questioning if I want to get rid of all these and replace them here. I mean, it's going to cost me a lot of labor. Let's buy the card and then store it, and we'll worry about that later. For now, let's see what I'm able to do here. This might be a long-term transition. So, for the candle makers, boost these up, use iron tools. Eek. I hate using iron tools for upgrades. They feel like they're so precious, but I mean, we gotta do it, right? Let's get these things up and running. And without any cards, 23 beeswax becomes 33 candles. We actually have enough people to now work every single job that I've got, with the exception of deep sea ports because I turned them off. Oh my gosh. All right. Yep. So now we've swung too far the other direction. The fact that we still have enough food is amazing to me, but this could be proof that things are working so far. Grossly overproducing luxuries. We have our first level 6 house. There we go. Where is the dang thing? There it is. Level 6 house. It's just got a slightly bluer roof than the others. That's fine, though. I don't mind. Makes me a pretty decent amount of income. Even though it only has 4 people living here, you'd think more people would want to live in this house instead of the neighbors. But okay, the people love me. Oh, good. I mean, I do have 89 happiness. City attractiveness is amazingly not that great. Could boost that just a little bit if we do some national pride campaigns. There we go. That's another 10% or so. So hopefully that helps. And now we're going around and producing a decent number of candles. Okay. So it says we're not consuming nearly as much as we're producing, but the game hasn't had a chance to really catch up yet. Nonetheless, with just these 4, as long as we have enough beeswax coming in, we should be able to produce enough to get all the level 6 houses I need to get to the industrial era, which is kind of the next big milestone of the game. With 165,000 science stored, we'll be able to get ourselves loads of upgrades. Population's jumped up to 630, by the way. Holy crud. We got 12 level 6 houses now. Come on, keep working on this. Get me more. I'll go over here and I'll keep boosting up the candles, dang it. Still holding steady-ish on food. I'm watching to see if we keep close-ish to 50,000, and we're about to go into harvest season, so that's all looking great. And luxuries across the board are solid. I am finally starting to sell off enough of my tulips, which is good. I had to sell 1,000 at a time. Profit margins are massive. We are seriously making money now. I can go ahead and start boosting up my economic hegemony to get 3% extra production for everything across the board. That's nice. We have plenty of deep-sea tuna and so on. This is good. Lots of sake coming in. Okay, we're definitely good here on the tier 1s. Pottery is the only thing where we seem to be struggling just a little bit. And that's partly because our inventory is constantly getting full. But yeah, we're finally catching up. These advanced buildings are stronger than I gave them credit for. And it's really because of the concentration of labor. There's almost always people actively working here making progress on massive batches, as opposed to all these little tiny individual buildings, right? Where, you know, if one worker is there, cool, but like most of the time they're not, whereas you'll always have somebody working in the sake brewery or whatever else. I don't know if that makes any sense. What I'm trying to say is with 16 people, there's almost always one person working. When there's 3 workers, there's a good chance that nobody's working. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Next question I've got, how are we doing on beeswax production? Do I need more in order to keep this going? We're producing 407. I seem to be consuming about 323. So with the sustainability books that I'm using to make candles, it looks like we actually have enough beeswax production that we are okay. So that's all looking good. So in theory, as long as our haulers keep running around, we should be able to keep producing enough candles. And how many houses do I have? 32. Hold on. I've got 32 level 6 houses. That means we can get the chocolatier. Boom. Grab that instantly. Museum. Artifact excavation. Artifact cards gets bonuses. This is good if you have, like, what was it? Some special cards that you're not going to use anymore. You just toss them in here and they're just passive income. Meh. Zoo. Slot animal cards. I mean, I don't usually do much with either of these either, but we'll just unlock them for the heck of it, all right? One big problem I'm realizing with all the furniture production we're doing, I am completely out of lumber. Yep. We need to get ourselves some more foresters and just start chopping down tons and tons of trees, don't we? Let's try investing a little bit more in some bonsai, by the way. I mean, I still don't think that this is amazing. It seems like 4 people doesn't make a ton of luxuries, right? Now we can check this. I mean, let's look for the bonsai trees. Where are they? There we go. We've been producing about 56 a year, it looks like. 56 a year across 4 people. Yeah, that's actually pretty terrible, isn't it? This is a mistake to invest in, isn't it? Probably. Fine. All right, hang on. Get rid of it. It's no longer worthwhile. You know what is definitely going to be worthwhile, though? It's going to be chocolate. Let's go ahead and get up over here and get some cocoa production up and running. Now, something I'm trying to remember, wasn't there a building that lets me manage logistics very directly? Not just the hauling services. I know these guys try to fill up the inputs and clear out the outputs of all nearby buildings and stuff. But I thought that there was a specific job that allowed me to pick up one goods from far away and transport them elsewhere. Maybe it's a storage depot. Yeah, store one type of resource, upgrade for delivery. That might be what I'm thinking of. The idea being, if I'm going to set up some chocolate over this direction, I don't necessarily want to process it here. I would rather have someone pick it all up and then drop it off in a nice central location where I just got rid of some pig farms and all these bonsai trees. Yeah, here we go. Storage depot. You can store cocoa specifically. Add a hauler. I don't know what I just clicked there. Delivery man. From the storage to a specified slot. Yes, I guess that is what I was asking for. And then delivery target will be somewhere down over this direction. How about right here? And the population's starting to drop again. Shocker. That's fine. All right, so come spring, we're going to start having a lot of that. Chocolatier, we need milk. I'm probably going to have to import milk to start because I don't exactly have any cattle. And I don't really feel like investing in any cattle, at least not now, thank you. We'll try importing, like, I don't know, like a few hundred at a time. This kills my profit margin, at least for a little while, but it's going to end up paying for itself very nicely later on. The reason I want to get chocolate up and running is because while the candles have got me up to about 30 houses, it doesn't seem like they're able to sustain much more than that. So I need another form of Tier 2 luxury if I want to get up to all the level 6 I need for the industrial era. And I really, really don't think bonsai is going to cut it, unless there's something I'm doing wrong with the bonsai trees. But I'm thinking about how many luxuries we get per person, and it just wasn't very much. Okay, cocoa is now starting to come in. We'll see how much I produce by the end of the year. Didn't get all my farmers up here, so it's not going to be the largest crop ever. But we should now see that some people are going to come through here and drop it off at the chocolatiers. And I've actually got a level 7 house. That's a good sign. However, we have downgraded back down to mostly level 5 houses. That's disconcerting. Anyway, cocoa is now starting to come in, so this is starting to be a thing. We probably should spend iron bars to make some chocolate towns. Very, very expensive to get chocolate up and running, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you need 602 iron bars here just to get the bonbon balance. Level 6 houses up to 35% more efficiency. I mean, it becomes extremely good. It's just very expensive. And you need the upgrade points for less input. Still, this amounts to... let me do some math, actually. How much input is this? So it's like 430 gold worth of input right now with all these cards and not all the upgrades to get about 2,500 gold worth of output. Which is, again, where I kind of look at things like chocolate and I say it does become worth it if you invest heavily in this. 30% reduction in input is massive. Oh, crap. I just realized that chocolate's a level 3 luxury... Oh, shoot. No! Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's not what it was supposed to be. Good. Okay, so now we have Tier 3 luxuries. I didn't mean to. I needed Tier 2 so I could get level 6 houses. That explains why I have level 5s. All right. Great. I'm doubling down here on the freaking candles then. Screw it. Well, tell you what, I'm just gonna go ahead and export the excess chocolate for a while then. We're about to make a lot of extra money. Maybe it would be worth trying to learn how to make wine or something. I don't know. Population's still struggling, but food is doing great. We peaked at 71,000 not too long ago. We could buy a card and just go ahead and learn how to breed grapes, and we would use that to try to make some good stuff. Alternatively, we go down the clothing route, but I don't know. I feel like grapes would be easier for me to work with. Let's pick this up, and then over this direction, yes, I'll take another one of these. We can buy another fertile area, and that would be a great spot to place down some very nice vineyards. Wait, I just realized, do we not have access to wineries? I don't think we do. Pretty sure green tea replaced that entirely for the Shogunate. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. That leaves coffee and bonsais and clothing only. Okay, let's forget the grapes. Grapes was a mistake. We are going to transition to cotton. And then up over in this general area, we'll go ahead and set up some tailors. The advantage of the clothing is not only is it a luxury, but we also could get some cold resistance, and that would mean even less people die from the cold, which hasn't been much of an issue, but you get the idea. Advanced tailor, nah, I think we'll just pass on that for the moment. Okay, now that clothing is online, we're starting to get more Tier 7 houses again, so we're up to 32 of those. So that's getting there. So the more we keep producing of this, if we can get back on track with the clothes and the candles, we officially have everything we need to move to the industrial era. Now it's just a matter of waiting. And that is the 50-some houses I was looking for. Thank you, Industrial Age. Here we go. Boom. Oh, boy. Okay, we've reached it. We've reached that big stage. This is great. This is the last stage of the game, and this is when the big stuff starts to come out. Industrial output. Go ahead and start boosting up all industrial output by 20%. Sounds good. Pick that one up. Let's go for the scientific theory. It gets me some extra output from all houses. Science jumps up by another 800 points. Seed selection, 10% more farms. Yep. Fertilizers, 10% more from farms. Thank you. Cotton mill, we could boost up things here. Cotton becomes cotton fabric. If I want to have extra labor, this will make my cloth production a lot better. Paper mill, mass produce the paper. Electricity, take coal and make electricity. Concrete factories and stuff, that's going to be important later. Card combiner, building slot cards become a better one. Yeah, these are all very good. Electronics factory are a unique tier 3 luxury for the Shogunate faction. But I'm not worried about any of this other stuff here yet. Electricity is great, but I don't have the infrastructure set up for it right now. First off, let's go ahead and embrace capitalism. I don't really see the point in ever embracing communism in this game. Productivity to all production buildings sounds great, but all motivation and passion cards become worthless, so you end up taking a, like, what, 10, 15% loss. Whereas just 50% more gold from all luxury consumption is, like, really good, dude. So we'll take that. Excellent. That should boost me up a fair bit. Choose another era bonus. Score. I haven't really bothered with score. Notice my money just jumped up by 8,000? This is why I'm saying capitalism is superior in every possible way. All right, score. Right, score. That is a thing in this game. Do I care about score? I guess I'll just take the wonder score. I plan on building all 3 wonders if I can, so we'll come back to that. Steel. Yes, more things. Let's go back to the upgrades for a moment. We can get the cypress and flower beds, the golden palace I'm not worried about. Bonsai master. Try to make the bonsais worthwhile, huh? Fashionable cloth, a new thing from a tailor. Okay. Industrial technologies, more productivity that away, or we'll just go ahead and double back and grab things like the forestry, the farming, the trade relations, the ranching, the heat. There we go. So that's all technology down there taken care of. I still have 100,000 science to go, so let's go ahead and just boost up. Whoa. Okay, forget the industrial technologies. That costs a lot. Wow. Let's swap over to the cypress or something for a little bit. Okay, good. So with all that taken care of, I'm just curious, do we see like a big boost in things like sake? Can we see our efficiency level? I'm looking for like industry efficiency. So yeah, industrialization did boost us up by 20% and 5%. So yeah, across the board with pretty much everything that I care about, we got an extra 25% of our efficiency. And now, if I want to start importing some concrete, even though no one in the world is producing it, it doesn't even matter. We can start spending a lot of money to go ahead and boost up our efficiency even further. And I'm very happy to do that, or at least the work speed is the correct terminology of what we're going to be doing. Costs a lot of money, not going to be making a lot of profit. Who cares? We're now making an absolute ton of money from simply the consumption of all the luxury goods that we are manufacturing. And now we actually do have an immediate use for things like chocolate. That'll be going around making me tons of money. Now we should be thinking about what are the next tier 3 luxuries. I mean, the books are easy enough to do. Sure, mass-produced paper, jewelry. Don't really care about that. Fashionable clothes would be easy. Pocket watches, no. Toilet paper, easy. And this is a freaking Nintendo Switch. Yeah, we could figure out how to make these. I feel like this has to be an ultimate goal. Build all wonders and make a stupid number of Nintendo Switches, okay? That is how we are going to end this series, on a high note. And we're not done with all of our other luxuries, too. I want to continue boosting up the tier 1s to make sure we have no problem. Our food is starting to slowly dip down, but that's because we've got our population all the way up to 794. We more than doubled it in this particular episode. Science, money, looking great. Upgrade points, looking good. We finally have enough tools. We're mostly on top of medicine, though not great. Yeah, there's still a lot more to rebalance. But this is solid. I think we may have finally hit the critical mass where I can start doing kind of whatever I want, whenever I want, and as long as the population keeps up, we are going to be good to go. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.